Playtesting, something that Valve does within the first week of creating a game or implementing a new feature, but something that I haven't done since creating my game over a year ago. Welcome to Devlog 3 of Burn It All Down. Playtesting, it's like really important. If you don't do it, you end up with a less than ideal game, or dividing your fan base by eliminating any outside opinion or criticism. This right here is what my game looked like over 3 months ago, and it's looked like this for the past year. For a whole year, I have implemented feature after feature with the game looking like this. That's because it's only been me. No one else has played the game because they couldn't. There was no build to play. It was just a bunch of random systems. There wasn't even a main menu. A video uploaded by the man himself, Mark Brown, dove deep into the value and importance of playtesting and how beneficial it is towards a game's success. This video really shifted my perspective on my own game, as now I began to question if my game was even fun or if I had just wasted a year of development time. Some people like to focus early on in development on how their game looks. While it was tempting to do so myself, I knew for me it wouldn't work. I couldn't help but feel that such an approach would be detrimental to the progress of my own game. I find that having been stuck in this dull and endless void for over a year, I have developed a steady routine and a solid understanding of my project, and feel like the time and sunk mental cost is now a strength of mine that will allow me to push ahead and actually release this game. But before that, I need to know if it's been worth it. Does it work? Is it even fun? I decided it was time. Enough of the endless and blind development. It was time to let someone take what I had and give me some honest opinions about what they thought. So I knuckled down and created a list of what I would need for the first ever Burn It All Down playtest. A menu. Every game has one, the good and the bad. Settings and pause menus. Only took me 2 weeks of solid non-stop work for that one.
Nice.
A level. Now this is what I started the project for, level design. It's my favorite part about development, and while this test level will be small and simple, I really can't wait to start making the actual levels once I start making a public demo. With these foundations, I began to tweak the game and prepare it for the first demo build. I added item sockets, which will allow the player to play around with different things. I fixed a bajillion bugs that kept popping up, added a damage script to the bottles, and finally built the game into the first ever playable demo. This is when I needed the most important piece of the puzzle, the playtester.
I searched far and wide, under rocks and atop mountains. I traversed vast deserts and dove deep seas, searching for the one.
Just kidding, it's Ricky. It's always been Ricky. He's big, which means big brain in that, innit? All jokes aside, Ricky has played way more VR games than I have, but more importantly, has played more games similar to mine than anyone I know. He is very honest and critical with both his thinking and feedback, and has a keen eye for the little things. I sent him the build, had him share his screen with me, and let him loose to pick apart my game. To my relief, the playtest went well. He had some very useful feedback, but overall enjoyed the player movement, sandbox elements, and combat with the AI. This gave me a large boost to my confidence and motivation, as now I had some clarification that I was on the right path. Some of the feedback included weapon tuning, making the weapons more responsive and less weighty, making items easier to pick up off the floor, making certain sandbox objects heavier, such as wooden boxes, and making the enemies slightly smaller. With this, I got to work, quickly tweaking the elements of my game. I fixed many bugs and introduced some much needed additions that would help the player feel more immersed into the game. The major ones being impact particles for punching and weapon hits, and adding health to the boxes and barrels so that the player could break them. I also made the enemies drop their weapon upon death, as it was jarring when you couldn't pick them up from their dead bodies. With these additions, I pushed a new build and had Ricky give it another go. Ricky seemed to be enjoying himself and became excited for future builds of the game. Having played the combat demo, I thought it a great time to iterate on the other half of the main gameplay loop, this being stealth. So I began creating a new level for the playtest build of the game, the stealth demo. This level would be closer in line with what I want the game to feel like and how I want the game to play. For this demo, I created a small level with the player spawn point and an endpoint. The goal of this demo was to see what it felt like to sneak around, distract enemies, perform stealth kills, and how the enemy AI felt when they weren't attacking and what could be improved upon. To accomplish this, I needed to create an endgame state, as currently the only way to end the game was to die. In this endgame state, I wanted some statistics to be displayed, the main three being completion time, enemies killed, and secrets found. I would like to expand upon these stats with things like achievements and ratings. An example of something I have in mind is a star or badge system for completing the level without being detected or without killing any enemies, but that's for future me to figure out. With the current version of the end state ready, all I needed to do was create the level. Now this is what I'm talking about. Look at me go. I'm doing it. I'm doing the level design thing. My idea for this level was sketched out months prior to actual implementation when I was working a night shift one evening. My goal with this was to allow the player to have multiple options for how they would reach the end, as I wanted a sense of player freedom and choice. Once I had the level built and the props in place, I threw in some enemies and published the new build of the playtest. Now this is where I was nervous. This was the point in which I was anticipating disappointment, but all I could do was sit back and wait. Again, to my surprise, Ricky enjoyed himself. There were a few minor hiccups here and there, but overall, it was a positive experience. One of the best outcomes from this demo was that we found the player detection to be quite forgiving and ran into little to no issues with how the AI would spot the player. With a new list of feedback and an even clearer idea of what to do next, I got back to work. I added the ability for the AI to jump, climb ladders, and drop from heights. I created a light that displays the vision cone and current state of the AI, which helps with the player understanding and awareness. I also made the light flicker and turn off when the AI dies, which adds a great deal to the immersion of the game. I also improved the optimization of the game, mainly in the lighting side of things, which not only helps performance, but greatly improves the look of the game. With these improvements made and another demo build tested by Ricky, I was able to look towards the next stage of development. Finally, after what feels like a lifetime, I can begin exploring the destruction side of my game. Having focused so much on playtesting, I can happily say that the project is on the right path. I cannot understate how beneficial it's been seeing what others do with my game, and how much, in such a short amount of time, it has improved because of these fresh perspectives. So please, stay tuned for the next development video where both the player and the AI will discover fire. The Big Ben isn't going to burn itself down after all.
Oh dear.
Thank you everyone for watching. The feedback and comments on these videos has been awesome and very motivating. I have a Discord which I've linked below for anyone who is interested in some sneak peeks on what I'm working on at any given time, and will be where I'll post the first closed alpha build of the game. So if that's something that interests you, you're more than welcome to join. Anyway, with that, thanks again for watching and subscribe. Cheers.